Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving straight into a cultural phenomenon that is absolutely mind-blowing. We're unpacking how an ancient harvest festival still manages to bring massive, bustling 21st century cities to a complete standstill. We're talking about Pongal, a celebration that beautifully bridges the gap between ancient agrarian roots and our fast-paced modern lives.
Picture this for a second. Over 100,000 people swarming Chennai's beaches in just a single day. The crowd is so incredibly immense that it takes a staggering 16,000 deployed police officers plus another 1,500 home guards just to handle the sheer volume of humanity. I mean, think about that. You've got an ancient harvest festival demanding modern temporary control rooms, live drone monitoring, and even assistance centers tracking lost kids with wristbands. It is a logistical beast for a modern metropolis.
For days, the usually chaotic city roads are completely deserted. And then, boom, vehicular traffic suddenly explodes as people absolutely flood the local recreational spots. We're talking district-wide traffic diversions. Extra transport buses are running absolute overtime to places like the Augury statue, and families are packing into botanical gardens, lakes, and dams across cities like Chennai and Coimbatore. It's this sudden, massive, outward explosion of social activity.
So you gotta wonder, what exactly commands this kind of massive, coordinated social mobilization across an entire state? What kind of holiday triggers literally millions of people to simultaneously gather and celebrate in such a profoundly public way?
Section 1. The Roots of Pongal. Cosmic Thanksgiving. To really understand these urban megacrowds today, we need to zoom way out.
Let's step away from the traffic jams and beach crowds and travel back in time over 2 millennia. According to academic records in the DVK journals, Pongal preserves one of the richest human traditions from the remote past. Historians trace the origins of this cosmic Thanksgiving all the way back to the Sangam period, around 400 BCE, so way before modern megacities even existed. Back then, survival was directly, undeniably tied to the land, the sun, and the rain.
And the very name of the festival is our first big clue to its enduring power. It comes from the Tamil root word pongu, which literally means to cook, to boil over, or to overflow. But figuratively, it means something so much more beautiful. It means to swell up with joy. Just as the newly harvested rice physically boils over its mud pot during the cooking ritual, the festival itself represents this literal boiling over of human joy and agricultural abundance.
Section 2. The 4 Days, a structured celebration. Now, this isn't just a random single day of partying. It is a brilliant, meticulously organized 4-day journey. Taking place during the auspicious Tamu month of Thai, which is traditionally associated with finding solutions and new beginnings, the whole festival moves incredibly logically. It flows right from cleansing the home on day 1, to honoring the cosmos on day 2, to thanking the animals on day 3, and finally, uniting society on day 4. Let's walk through exactly how this builds.
Okay, so day 1 is called Bhogi. This is a day of intense preparation and cleansing. All the old dirt and rubbish accumulated over the past year is literally swept out of the house and burnt before daybreak, giving the whole village the smart, tidy look. It's known as a festival of physical enjoyment. The farmers get to take a well-earned rest after some seriously strenuous fieldwork. And they also take time to honor Indra, the god of the heavens and rain, giving thanks for the water that made the harvest possible in the first place.
Then we hit day 2, Pongal Day itself. This is the big one, the most vital and spiritually significant day of the whole shebang. It features a highly specific ritual where the newly harvested rice is cooked in milk inside a brand new mud pot. They add sugarcane, ginger, and turmeric, which are these great symbols of sweetness and auspiciousness. But here's the really key detail. This is all done outdoors, right in an open central yard. Why? Well, so the offering can be made directly to the sun god, acknowledging the sun as the absolute ultimate giver of life to plants, animals, and us humans.
Section 3. Honoring the cattle, the companions of survival. Let's move right along to day 3, known as Matta Pongal, and see how this focus shifts from the cosmos down to the earth.
Now that the heavens and the sun have been thanked, the attention turns to the immediate, physical helpers of the harvest. As noted in the DVK journals, ancient societies recognized that their very survival depended entirely on the cow and the bull. Long before tractors and modern machinery, cattle were the chief asset of the farmer. They provided the food, the milk, and that immense physical labor required to till the soil. So a whole entire day is dedicated to feeding them a portion of the year's produce and showing profound gratitude for their service.
And this reverence brilliantly illustrates the context for the famous Jallikattu bull taming event held on this day. It is absolutely crucial to understand the distinction here. Unlike European bullfights like you might see in Spain, where the bull is killed as a public spectacle, the Indian bull in Jallikattu is heavily decorated and highly revered. It's a strictly non-lethal event. It functions as a test to admire a warrior's valor, all while deeply respecting the sheer power of the animal.
Section 4. Kanum Pongal, a modern social phenomenon. And this brings us right back to those bustling modern beaches and packed picnic spots where we started our explainer today.
The word kanam literally translates to seeing. This day shifts the focus entirely from the agricultural side to the social side. It's a day for big outings with family and friends. It's deeply rooted in community bonds. For example, sisters will specifically place food on leaves for birds, praying for the prosperity and happiness of their brothers. It also perfectly coincides with Thiruvalluvur, which honors the sacred Tamil poet whose values guide a successful life.
So, when we look at those incredible scenes of modern city dwellers using their holiday wages to head out to the beaches, we're actually watching the concept of Pungu happen in real time. While the village farmer celebrates with the physical boiling over of the harvest rice, the urban population literally boils over onto the coastlines and parks in this massive joyful display of community, really just seeing one another.
Section 5. A universal message, eco-spirituality. This brings us to a really crucial question.
What exactly does an ancient agrarian festival, rooted in a harvest from 400 BCE, mean for our highly modernized, tech-driven world today? Well, the DVK journals point to a fascinating concept called eco-spirituality. Right now, in an era where we face unprecedented ecological crises and a real rupture between humans and nature, Pongal offers a powerful course correction. It reminds us to reject the destruction of our environment. Instead, it invites us to celebrate a joyful fellowship with the earth, the water, the fire, and the animals. It's a beautiful reminder that nature is our common table.
Because it honors basic human labor and nature's raw produce, things that are universal to all of mankind, the festival challenges us to reach way beyond our own small circles, our own clans, and our own borders. As an ancient Tamil poet beautifully summarized, "Every country is my native land, and every man is my kinsman." It's a profound call for true global solidarity. As we watch over 100,000 people gather peacefully on those Chennai beaches, participating in an unbroken chain of tradition stretching back thousands of years, it leaves us with a really profound thought. If an ancient harvest festival can successfully mobilize millions to joyfully celebrate their connection to the earth and to each other today, what other ancient practices might just hold the key to repairing our relationship with the planet? It's definitely something to think about the next time you see a pot boiling over. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer, and keep questioning the world around you.